tuned into Honey Kalaria's Midday Masti Show on New Sound Radio 92 FM. I have a really beautiful lady standing in front of me. Her name is Priya. She's looking stunning in this gorgeous red sari that she's wearing. And not just that, whilst speaking to her, I found her completely very intriguing. She's been studying Vedic knowledge and studying Vedanta for the past 15 years. And the person who inspired her was a lady called Swamini Atma Prakashananda. And as promised, let me see if I can have a few words with our dear Priya here and find out a bit about her story and her journey into the world of spirituality. Hi, Priya.
Hi.
Priya, how would you describe Vedic knowledge?
How would I describe Vedic knowledge? Vedic knowledge is for everybody, so it's open for everyone to access. It's very old, it's very broad, and it's very deep. So
that's true. That's true. It's very ancient knowledge, about 5,000 years old knowledge. And I was listening to a video, and this video, it said a gentleman was talking. He was an Australian, I believe, and he was mentioning that he studied many faiths and religions and different belief systems, but what he did find good was teachings within the Vedanta, because they really help you with everyday life. Is that true for you?
It's definitely true. I think the idea that the self, the other person is not other, and the self it's about recognizing the self in all beings, and it addresses, they're very old notions, if you like, thousands of years old, but they take into account everyday situations, everyday life, or relationships, our relationship with ourselves. So there's no topic which is left untouched.
That's really good. What's your favorite topics within the field of Vedic knowledge and this Vedanta?
Oh, that's a good question. I think just the most, from the talk this evening as well, just recognizing that, there's God in everything, and in everyone. And I think it doesn't matter what religion or race or background you come from, it applies to everybody. And it's a very accessible, reality. So whatever you believe, however you feel, it's something you can take on.
There's something for everyone in there, is that right? And Priya, I was going to ask one last question here for you. How has this changed your life by bringing in Vedic teachings in your life? How has that, changed from 15 years ago to now?
I think it helps. I think as you get a little bit older, you go through your teenage years and things like that. I think some things start to settle down. You start to get a broader perspective of life. And I think Vedanta helps with that. I think it helps answer a lot of questions that everyone has growing up and when you're young and when you get older as well.
Is there any questions that got answered for you that you had when you were growing up?
I suppose fundamental questions about that any person can have about who you are and your identity and what it means to be a human being, and how is that different from being an insect or an animal. I mean, that sounds like, you want to laugh at that. It sounds quite funny, but people can think, why am I here? I suppose they're more existential questions, if you like.
Absolutely. That deeper questions for the meaning of life, really. And Priya, today, we came along and listened to a discourse run by Swamiji, and he was amazing. He was very friendly, very full of compassion. He had a wonderful aura about him. What did you find fascinating about today's discourse? What are you going to go back with?
Well, Swamiji talked about how every person, everything we see in the world, everything has a name, everything has a form, everything has a function. So therefore we see it as different. But Swamiji talked about the fundamentals of actually that it's the same matter which is in all of us and which connects everything. So he really broke that down, in a really sort of fundamental way, and really explained it really well to say, well, you can't separate something from something else. Actually, it's the same thing, even though it looks different. So
yeah, he spoke something about that. If you take gold and then you can turn it into a bracelet, and then you can call it a bracelet, and you're giving it that form and a name called bracelet, but it's still gold at the end of the day. Exactly. So then he speaks about us coming out of the Creator, being part of Brahma. Yeah. That means we are Brahma ourselves. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So we're all Brahman, but your name is Honey, my name is Priya. You have slightly longer hair than me, I have slightly shorter hair. We're wearing different color clothes. Yours is yellow, mine is red and black. But we're the same, what
we're made of.
We're made of the same stuff, exactly. So we're both made of gold.
Wow, I like that. I think I'm going to finish off on that one. I think that's a real good high for me. Yeah, forget the diamonds. I like the gold. Gold sounds pure. Pure gold. That sounds fantastic. Well, Priya, thank you so much for joining us here today, and thank you for sharing your wonderful views on Vedanta. Thank you. And you've tuned into Honey Kalaria's Midday Masti Show on 92 FM. We've been talking to Priya here, who's absolutely gorgeous with a beautiful sari on, and she absolutely looks like a model.